Hello, welcome to Hero Explorations. This is where we are going to break down, redesign, and reimagine the most impactful part of any website, the hero section. Join me as we do a deep dive into this. But first, we would like to set up our color styles, generate our color palette, and create some components that will be useful for this. We have some information here that will be vital for our hero section. So despite the number of hero sections we are going to be creating, we will stick to this amount of information, right? So we have the headline, which reads empowering businesses to operate smarter, faster, and stronger. So this is basically an information for a business support as a service kind of brand, right? That's what we are going to be exploring today. We are going to use to explore hero sections. Then you have the sub headline, the subtitle from admin tasks to strategic operations. We provide end-to-end support services that help you focus on growth while we handle the rest. Then these are optional. You have key CTAs, primary button, get started. Then you have for the secondary, see how it works, and that's optional. Then I've also been able to outline our header menus. We have 4 menus, which are solutions, how it works, pricing, about, and that's that. Then we have our brand color, which is this. So let's start by creating a color style, and for speed, right, we would like to make use of ChatGPT to create our color style. So let me just show you how this is done. So I'll go to ChatGPT. I have it here. Give me a minute. Let me copy this. I'll copy my brand color. Head down to ChatGPT and say alright, so this is the prompt I have in mind. Create an 11-step color style ranging from 25 to 900 using Untitled UI design guidelines. You can use any design system guideline, right? Whichever you want, but this is the one I would like to make use of for this particular purpose. With this hex code as our primary color, as our default color, right? Once we have this particular prompt, now I decided to make use of to use an 11-step color style because I personally love the how bright and how light the 25 is in the color style, right? The 50 doesn't really give me what I want, so I try to get another color style added to it, which is the 25, and it gives me something very beautiful that I can use as my background and all that, right? Both for my grayscale, both for my gray colors, my semantic colors, my primary colors, my base colors, whichever, right? I always make use of the 25. So let's see what this will give to us. All right, cool. So we already have this outline. So give me a few minutes. Let me input this into my Figma. we've been able to create our styles. Now take note of something. We are deliberately not making use of variables because we believe that most persons that are going to interface with this particular material might not be conversant with variables. That's why we are making use of styles. So let's go ahead. We are going to get our desktop frame. Click on frame, then we'll come to desktop. The breakpoints we will likely make use of is 1440 by 1024. So I'll click this and bring this in, and we have this. So permit me to rename my frame to be landing page 1. Not landing page. Hero section 1. So I have this as hero section 1, and I would love to duplicate this. This is going to serve as our background for all hero sections, right? We are just going to make use of this particular frame size. So that's it. So let's start. So the first I'm going to start with is, let's see how we can create our grids. I think that's the most important thing right now. So I would like to create my grid. I love the combination of the 8-point grid and the 4-point grid. Making use of columns, I have 12. I love to keep it this, but I don't like this particular color. I like to make mine to be green. It feels better for me. So let's try 120, and for the gutter I would like to make use of 16. So I think this is it for me. At this point I am going to save this so I can make use of this again. Let me just call this grids. I have that. Alright, so we have our grid set. So let's do a deep dive into let's start with the name of the brand. There is no logo provided for this, so I am just going to. Alright, give me a minute. I think I have a logo for this. Alright, I have this logo here. Cool. Alright, cool. So I have this logo here. That's my logo. Name of my brand is Idora. So let's go over to our menus. So these are the 4 menus we have, but first I'm going to make them to be components, so when you hover on them it will have a change of color. So I think I have a separate frame kept aside for components, so let's start with that. I'll come down here, create my menu. This is, keep this at regular. My text size should be 16 for the menu. I have this, the font. Now I'm not taking note of quite a number of things, right? I'm doing this regardless of a number of principles. One is my type scale, but I'm following the actual type sizes that are meant for several sections of the hero section, right? So let's just continue. The typeface I'm making use of is Broccoloid Grotex 36 pt. So I have my text size here, 16 pixels regular. I have it here, so I'm going to add auto layout and I'll give this 16 by 12. Space between items should be 0. I'll rename this to be menu, and I'll make it a component, give it a variant, right? Changes from property 1 to state. The first one is the default, the second is the hover. That's what I want. Then I'll come up with my text property. God is the label. As a matter of fact, let me change that from label to placeholder. Let's leave it at the label. So I have this for my hover. I'm going to give it 500 for this. Let me change the text color to black neutral, and I think I currently have my menu set up. But of course, you can do your menu much more than this, just in case there are opportunities for a drop down or whatever. Right now we are not considering any of that. We don't know if you will need a drop down or whatever, right? We are not doing the drop down menus and all, so we are just sticking to the menus straight up. So this is it. I'm going to head over to my design, my asset panel, and I'll bring out my menu. Now take notes, when it comes to icons also, there are no icons here for now. We are going to get to that point, so let's just continue with this. So I have menu 1. I think we have 4 menus in total, 2, 3, 4. Now let us replace the content. The first is solution. Second is how it works, pricing, and about. Now let's space this out a little bit. So we have our menus. I'm just going to place all of them in a particular container. Let's see the space between them. I'll keep 16, and I want my menu to be close to my logo, so I'll just keep this in one container and call it menu, header menu. So we have this. The space between these menus is what 16 pixels. So I have that. I have my logo. Now let's see how we can get CTAs positioned here. So we have two ideas, two CTAs here. We have the primary CTA, which states get started, and we have the secondary, which is see how it works. And the secondary is optional, right? You can do without the secondary. So let's come down to the area for our components and create a button component for that purpose. So I'll come down here, I'll do button. At this point, I want my text size to still be 16, but I want it to be, the font weight should be semi-bold, right? Should be semi-bold. I want it to be pretty pronounced, so I'll bring my editor in a frame. I like my buttons to be big, so I'll give my horizontal padding to be 24 pixels and my vertical padding to be 16 pixels. Space between item should be 0. I'll rename this to be button. Yeah. my fill color, of course my primary color. This should be, let me put my gray 25. I love the rounded kind of button. I love the rounded kind of button, so this is it. I'm going to make this a component. Now, making this a component, I'm not looking at giving the button a hover effect. I can actually do that, but what I'm focused on right now is having a variant that contains both the primary button, the secondary, and tertiary if need be, but I think we're just going to stick to the primary and the secondary, right? So let's give this make this a component variant. We have first, so I'll call this type of button. So let's make this to look like the secondary button. I'm going to give it this. Alright, so type, the first will be primary, the second will be secondary. So if this is a bit confusing for you, right, I will be able to leave some links to different channels that has lectures on components, creating components, and some other things. So I'll go to my text property and I'll call this label. I will likely add this to the first property that was created, and I have that. So this is for my button. I think basically we might just need these two components, but let's see how that goes. So the first button states get started, and the second is saying how it works. The second is meant to be a secondary button. So let's put these two in a container, and I'll call that container CTA, space between them 16. Well, I prefer my primary to be on the right hand side. So I have my CTA container, my menu, and my logo. So I'll place these two together and call this header content. Give this a little bit of padding, just horizontal padding, just vertical padding rather. Have this here, and I think we are still thinking of what the kind of hero section we want to achieve. So for now, I think let's just give this a little bit of padding also horizontally. We do this, make the space to be auto. think this is cool. This is good to go. Let me see the space between these two. I'm going to make this to be 40. Alright, so I think we have our header. Our header looks good to go. Right, so let's go to the content of the hero section. So now there are several now let's go to the content of the hero section. There are several layouts you can use for your hero section, right? There is every possibility that you might want your image, illustration, or whatever to be on the right hand side, while your text and the other things will be on the left hand side, right? This is a layout. You can use this as one of the layouts. You can also tweak it in a way where your image or illustration, whichever, can be down here, while this is at the middle, which is your write-up. Your write-up can occupy this particular place, including your CTAs and all that, right? There are different kind of layouts, types of layouts. We use it for the hero section. So let's consider one. Let's place our text on the left hand side, which is the basic one, right? It's pretty popular. And our image or whatever on the right hand side. That's the first you are going to play around with. So I'll bring my text here. I'm just going to write my name. It's done. So let me bring this here, copy this. That's our headline. Paste this here. So the size of my headline can be 40. I can make this to be 48 pixels. I'm still leaving it as semi-bold, but let me reduce this a little. Make a copy for the sub-headline, make it to be regular. Right, come down here and copy it. My sub-headline is going to be at about 24 pixels. And I'll keep it close to this. Then of course there is every possibility that we might need our CTA. So at this point, your primary button is always at the left hand side, while your secondary or tertiary will be at the right hand side. So I think I would like a tertiary button. I just thought about it. Cool. Now I'm going to change this to the tertiary button. I'll make this get started with your business. next I'm going to give this learn more. So I feel this text is pretty long, but let's see what we can do about that. I'll just say register your business. Now this depends on whatsoever you have for your CTA, right? It must not be the same as what I have here. We're just using this as an example. So we have this. I'm going to give this and this. Let me give this to be 40 pixels. Place this tool in a container, give the space 16 pixels, but I'll call this headline and sub headline. Let's keep them there first. Then the next is, I think we will need an image here, right? So your image can be in a frame. I think that's the first we are going to explore. Let's explore an image being in the frame. So I have something like this. I'm going to call this image. Let me just give this a few color so I don't forget. So I'm going to call this image. Alright, so let's see if we can get an image in here. Sorry, I just remembered, I think we'll have to keep the CTA and this headline and sub headline container together, and I'll call that hero info. Permit me and my naming convention. I always name it in a way that I can easily recognize it. So space between content 32 pixels. I have this and I have this. So we currently have these two. Now, do you think this is okay for your hero section? So can you see this? Pretty easy for a hero section. Now most persons keep their hero sections to be just like this, making it look basic and all that. We are going to see how we can fine-tune this and give it some aesthetics, so any user that sees it will be happy to jump on this hero section. So that's where we are doing the deep dive, right? Exploring several things on a particular hero section and all that. All right, so we are looking at creating something basic for now, but we don't want to keep it so bland, right? We have this here. It looks good, but it is pretty bland, just basic, just there, right? No single touch attached to it and all. So let's see how we can spice this up a little bit. Now take note, we are going to be doing several kinds of exploration. We are starting with what I will call the simplest, right? So let's dive back into this. So right now we have this as our hero section. For us to be able to spice things up a little bit, let's see how we can give it a background. Now take note, the background here is, it's pure white, right? Now imagine if, of course, we know that your website background color isn't supposed to be pure white. So let's say we are giving it gray 25, right? So that's not pure white, but it still has the color there. It's not pure white, it still has the color there, right? So let's say we are giving it this. Of course, every other section of your website, you might have to tweak your color in a way so that it won't just look bland, pure white all through, or gray 25 all through. But let's start with the hero section. Let's see what we can tweak here. Instead of leaving it at this particular color, I'm going to give it gray. I'm going to give it the primary color, primary 25, but I'll have to bring in this particular background because in my head, I feel like there are other things I would like to add to the background just to spice things up a little bit. So I'll make a copy of this and pull this in here. This particular background that I'm seeing, it has pure white. I'm going to change it from pure white to primary 25, right? It has primary 25 right now. Let's look down here. I think we're going to see the different color here, right? It's almost like the same background, but it just has a little tweak added to it. So I'm going to place that in the center. Oh, it has covered our design, so I'll take that to the back. Yeah, so we have it at the back here, and now this is what our background looks like. It's not pure white anymore. It's somehow related to the primary color that we have on this hero section. So let's dive back in. The next little tweak I'm going to add to this, just to give it a different feel, right? This is we exploring several hero sections. I'm going to make a copy of the logo. I'll make a copy of it, and I'll pull out the vector. I'll also make a copy of the vector, which is the logo itself inside there. I'll make a copy of it, pull it out. I have this. Let's see how we can make use of this and give this hero section a different feel. Increase the size. Now I'm increasing the size by holding on to shift, yeah. Then I'll pull this inside the background container. So if I pull this in here, I think it's getting to the hero section itself, but I'm going to take it down to the background. So once you take it down to the background, of course the background is behind every other thing, so it's going to respond that same way. So I'm going to drop this off. I'm going to place this somewhere around here, but let me tilt that somehow to look like this. Okay, so this is just a little feel I'm going to give to it. Now if we leave this way, you will see that the hero section has quite a lot of splash of the primary color, and that might not be so cool. So instead of leaving it that way, I am going to do this. I'm going to reduce the contrast a little bit. So let's say 100. So it still keeps it there, but it makes it look like, okay, this is way better than the previous one. It's way better than the previous one because it has this particular effect splashed on the hero section. So one more thing we are going to do here before we start exploring another layout and some other little effects on the hero section. So one more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. Now, one of the basic things that a business support as a service kind of brand does is to empower business, right? So I'm going to spell this out to my users. I'm going to highlight it. When I highlight it, I'm going to change the color from black, which is the neutral color, to the default primary color. I might even reduce make it a bit darker and leave it this way. Now, if you look at this, you can see how different this looks, and this looks way better for a simple website hero section, right? It looks better than leaving everything bland the way it's supposed to be. So this is the first exploration we are doing. We are going to dive deeper, right? We'll just be going gradually and see how we can explore more things. I think I noticed something. If I hover on this, it's not giving me the feel I want, so probably we didn't prototype that. So let's go back to our components and do a little prototype of this. So pull this down here, on click, and trigger is while hovering, change to hover. Animation should be smart animate, ease in and ease out. Let's make that to be 350 rather. I think that's good to go. So try this again. Let's see. Cool. So you can see what the interaction looks like right now. So I think this is it. We've been able to achieve the first layout for a hero section. So if you have questions, feel free to drop your questions or concerns on the comment section, and I'll definitely try my best to respond to it. Thank you. See you in the second part of this.